warning out there for everyone who has just clicked on this video, spoiler alert, because I am going to be talking about what has happened in the film. So if you have not watched it yet, don't watch this video unless you want to know what happens before you watch it, which I don't know why you would, but otherwise go ahead. But there will be spoilers. So much happened in this film. So much happened. Oh my gosh. Everyone's in this film. Everyone. Also, we have a new addition to the Avengers in this film. Spider-Man. He still was at the beginning of the film, he was still the apprentice, and Tony Stark was kind of like, you can help a little bit, but not too much because you're still a kid, basically. And he was trying to tell him to go back home after helping for a little bit. And basically, Spider-Man didn't end up going home and stayed and ended up being trapped on the ship in space. So it was kind of like no choice. So Tony kind of had to, he couldn't go anywhere, so he had to help. So Spider-Man ended up helping, and at the end of the battle that they did in that scene, Tony basically did this on his shoulders and knighted him as an Avenger. So he's an Avenger now. And oh, what else? Oh, I forgot the opening scene. Like, how did I forget that? At the beginning of this film, so many people die, and it's really sad. I cried, no joke, I cried 4 times in this film. 4 times. To be fair, I cry quite a lot when I watch films, but there's only a few films that I've watched in my life that I've cried more than twice. And there's only been, I think, 2 films where I've cried 4 times. Yeah, I cried a lot in this film. But basically, right at the beginning, one of my favourite characters in the Marvel universe is Loki. And obviously Loki's not an Avenger. He does help out the Avengers occasionally. Obviously he's Thor's brother, blah blah blah. But I love Loki, and I'm pretty certain there's loads of people out there who love Loki, because Loki wouldn't have stuck around in all the films if people didn't like him. But yeah, right at the beginning, Thanos is there. He already has 2 stones. No, he already has 1 stone. Thanos has Thor in his hands and is basically going to kill Thor, otherwise give me the stone and I won't kill him. And Loki's like, go on then, kill him. Because, Loki's a villain. And he was basically on the edge of Thor being dead. And Loki was like, no, don't kill him. Obviously, Thor's not going to die. And basically surrenders and gives Thanos the stone. So, literally in the first 5 minutes of the film, Thanos has 2 stones. He's killed Loki. Well, yeah, he then kills Loki. If you've watched the film, you know that he then kills Loki, because Loki then basically tries to be like, oh, Thanos, I will serve you, I'll be, your slave, your little plaything, whatever, and then tried to stab him, and obviously he didn't succeed, and Thanos grabbed him by the throat and strangled him, and he died. So that was great. Right at the beginning of the film, my favourite character dies. So I was sad, but at the same time, I liked this film because it didn't feel like any character was safe. Obviously, there are some characters that are more safe than others, but still, no character really was safe. I was literally, it was like a bum clenching film. I was holding my breath a lot, I was clenching my bum and crying a lot. It's one of those films where you're just like, oh my god, what is going on? In this film, we get a flashback into when Thanos adopted Gamora. So when Gamora was like a little child, I'd roughly say she was around about 4 years old, 4, maybe 5 kind of age. And he came to that planet and basically was wiping out the population so that they could have a better form of living, in the sense of there would be less people, so there'd be more houses for them to live in and more food. So yeah, genocide. So yeah, basically she was like, where's my mum? Like, I don't know where my mum is, blah, blah, blah. And he saw in her that she had strength and like a good fight on her. So, he basically was like, come with me, like, I'll help you. And he gave her a knife. And as soon as I saw this knife and I saw that it had a red gem in it, I was like, there's going to be an Infinity Stone in that, surely. When they go and seek out Thanos, she stabs him with the, her knife. she stabs him with thin air. she stabs him, and he does go down, and he is on the floor a bit like, been hurt. But him being stabbed with that knife had the Infinity Stone in, so then he has another Infinity Stone, which I don't know if she knew that. She mustn't have known that, surely. But if you knew it had an Infinity Stone in it, surely you probably wouldn't have brought it with you, or you wouldn't use it against him for him to be able to take it from you. Like, to me, that just sounds like common sense. Unless she didn't know there was an Infinity Stone in it. She might not have known, because she never mentioned it in the film. So she might not have known. But as soon as I saw it in the film, like as soon as I saw that knife and saw there was a red gem in it, I was like, that's going to be one of the Infinity Stones. So surely she must have had an inkling that there was one in it, but apparently not. So yeah, basically she just gives him a stone, like Loki just gave him a stone. She just gave him a stone. And yeah, he then gets the Reality Stone, and he then grabs Gamora, and basically Gamora's like, kill me now, because he's going to take me. And Chris Pratt obviously is a bit like, oh, I don't want to, like, has a go at Thanos for a little bit. And then he does shoot his gun, but because Thanos has the Reality Stone now, he can basically shape anything into being anything. Like, anything could be reality. So Star-Lord shoots his gun and bubbles just come out. So he tried to kill her, but he didn't succeed. So then he takes her away, and oh, so much, like literally so much happened in this film. It was so jam-packed that my head's so jumbled. Like, I can't really remember what happened in what order, and I'm probably not going to mention, like, well, to be honest, if I was to talk about every single thing that happened in this film, this video would be like 2 hours long, which obviously I'm not going to do. But so that happens. So then he gets that stone. So now he has 3 stones. 2 of them have just been given to him. Obviously, Vision is someone who has the Mind Stone inside his head, like in his forehead. And in this film, he has evolved into like a human. Like, he looks like a human with skin and hair, and, you know, he just looks like a person. But also, when he's like in battle, he then just becomes Vision with all the paint on his face. So he's like adapted into being more than just Vision, but he still does have the Mind Stone in his head. And obviously they all know that at some point Thanos will be coming for Vision, because that is his end game, that he wants all of the Infinity Stones. So basically Vision asks Scarlet, you know, if it comes down to it, you're the only one who has the power to destroy the stone. And he was like, I know that it's not obviously ideal, like, I know it's not fair to ask of you to do this, but you are the only one with the power to do it. So, like, I'm sorry, but it has to be you. Which again is another reason why I cried. Not in that scene, but later in the film. Like, I cried so much. But But yeah, so basically he asks that of her, and she's a bit like, I don't want to, because who would want to kill the person they love? They go to Wakanda, and basically, because of their technology is so advanced, they have a way where they can extract the stone from him in not a detrimental way. So technically he would still be alive and fully functioning, but just without the stone. And then Scarlet can just destroy the stone. They must have had like telepathic powers, because I don't understand how Thanos's army seemed to know where all of the stones were. Do you know what I mean? Vision was in Scotland at the beginning of the film, and they come there. How did they know they were in Scotland first? But obviously they just did. So they went there, tried to get him, and you know, obviously they didn't succeed. So that's when they then found out that, you know, Captain America was like, I know someone who might be able to extract the stone, like, let's go there, see Black Panther. Obviously Vision is now in Wakanda. How did they then know that he went from Scotland to Wakanda? Like, I don't, like, nothing in the film told Thanos' army that they were in Wakanda, so I don't get how they seem to know where all the stones were, unless, like I said, they had some kind of telepathic powers, because of the, like, little leaders, the little children of Thanos. He, you know, he had, like, what's it called, telekinesis, like he could throw stuff and all of that. So I guess has like telepathic, like telekinesis, kind of cohabit telepathics like powers. I don't know. During this time, because Thanos hasn't arrived at Wakanda yet, during all of this, while his army's there doing the heavy work, Thanos is, where is he? He's in Titan. They're on Titan, aren't they? Where Doctor Strange is, Spider-Man is, and Iron Man is, Star-Lord and all of the Galaxy gang. So, yeah, they're all on Titan. Doctor Strange says to Spider-Man and Iron Man that basically, if it comes down to it, like, my duty is to protect this stone. So, if it comes down to it, you guys can die. I'm protecting the stone. If I have to choose, I'm choosing the stone. You guys can just die. Later on in the film, though, Iron Man is basically on the verge of death. Like, he's basically dying by Thanos. And Doctor Strange just gives him the stone. He's like, no, don't kill Iron Man. Here's your stone. Here you go, take it. So I'm assuming that doing that was on the way to the one outcome that they can win. Previous to that, they were trying to get the gauntlet off Thanos' hand, and they basically succeeded. They had it off his hand. But he then obviously just grabbed it. It was like on his fingertips, and then he grabbed it back. And you know who mucked all that up? Star-Lord. Because he then found out that Thanos killed Gamora to get the Soul Stone. He had to sacrifice someone that he loved, and Gamora was like, haha, good, you know, like, good luck to you because you don't love anything. And she was like, haha, like, you can't get the stone because you can't, there's nothing you care about to sacrifice. And he was like, no, actually there is. Like, I do actually love you. Even though you're not my birth child, blah, blah, blah. Like, I do love you. And he grabbed her and threw her off the cliff, and she died. Which was sad. Because as he was kind of dragging her towards the cliff, she looked like a little child. Like, because she was, like, smacking his hand. She was, like, completely, like, she had... It just looked like she was a defenseless child. Like, there was nothing she could do. He just grabbed her and was like, there you go, off you go. And he cried, Thanos cried, and he got the Soul Stone. They were trying to get the gauntlet off, and they basically did, And then they were all like saying to Star-Lord, don't engage, like don't just stop talking to him basically, because you're gonna make him like wake up from the like mindset that the little auntie lady had like put him in. And yeah, basically he finds out that he's killed Gamora, so he punches him, and that then sets off balance the lady that's got her hands on his head, and he obviously then completely wakes up and grabs his gauntlet back. So, well done, Chris Pratt. Like, Star-Lord basically fucked it up. It's all Star-Lord's fault. After that, he then goes to Wakanda, where all his army and everything is. And Vision now is like on the battlefield, and he's there, and basically, you know, Black Panther's coming to stop him. Black Widow's coming to stop him. Thor's coming to stop him. Captain America's coming to stop him. Like, Hulk's coming to stop him. Well, I say Hulk. Actually, Hulk made one appearance in this film, and then Bruce Banner didn't turn into Hulk for the rest of the film because Hulk didn't want to come out. He just kept saying no. His head would like morph into Hulk, and then he'd go no. So Bruce basically was in one of the like hefty Iron Man suits. So that did the trick though. That was all right. Yeah, but basically everyone was like at Thanos, like don't let him get to Vision basically. And Scarlet was like, well, this is it, because you know the stone's not out of your head yet. Thanos is right there. You know, either way he's gonna kill you. He either kills you and takes the stone, or you die by my hand. And Thanos is obviously getting closer and closer quite quickly. And then she takes one hand away, because she was doing both hands, and then she takes one hand away, and she's basically trying to keep Thanos back. And he gets towards her, and as he gets towards her, she destroys the stone. She destroys the stone, and all is well, I thought. I was like, yes, she's destroyed the stone. He can't get the last stone now. His gauntlet isn't complete. He can't complete it now because there is no sixth Infinity Stone. He's strong, yes, but he's not as strong as what he could be. So I was like, yeah. And then he has the Time Stone that Doctor Strange just willingly went, here you go. So what does Thanos do? He just reverses time, doesn't he? Back to when the stone wasn't destroyed and Vision was just stood there. So he reverses time, and Vision's just stood there, and Thanos just goes like that and takes it from his head. And then Vision dies, obviously, and then Thanos has the sixth Infinity Stone. And not long after that, he then does his little click, and lots of people then start turning to ash. What is basically happening is half of the population is obsolete. Like, I don't know if they're turning to ash and they never existed, or they're just dying. What's Tony gonna say to Aunt May? What's he gonna say? Oh yeah, your nephew's just disintegrated into ash. I'm sorry. Thanos then is on a planet where it's all beautiful and like the sun's setting and it's all lovely for him. And he basically sits down and rests. And he's done what he wanted. Like, he's accomplished what he wanted to do for this whole film. Like, he's done it. And the thing is that slightly confuses me is, obviously Doctor Strange was like, there's only one outcome where we win. But technically, realistically, they've lost. Because they haven't succeeded because he got all 6 Infinity Stones, and he has killed half the population. He did what he wanted, and the Avengers didn't succeed. He did what he wanted, and he's untouchable. So he's won. Like, as this film now stands, without the second film, Thanos has won. At the end of any Marvel film, there is always a post-credit scene. I was going to say movie then. There is a post-credit movie. Infinity War Part 2, straight after the credits. In the scene, you have Nick Fury and his assistant. I don't remember her name. Whatever her face is. Basically, there's like a massive crash, and they're like, what's going on? They get out the car, and they go and look in the car, and they're like, no one's there. Like, the car crashed and there's no one in it. And then she just evaporates, like, into ash. And then Nick's like, oh, what's going on? Runs to get a pager out and tries to, you know, send a pager. And as he's doing it, he is turning to ash as well. And then the page drops on the floor, and it looks like a really old device, and it says sending, and then it comes up with a logo, which is the logo for Captain Marvel. So apparently Captain Marvel, there is going to be a standalone film for her character next year. Apparently it's going to be like a few weeks, probably like a month or something, before Infinity War Part 2 comes out. So we're going to know a lot more about Captain Marvel film-wise next year before Infinity War comes out. What the gist I get from her, because I don't know much about Captain Marvel, like I haven't read any of the comics or anything, but obviously the thing is with comics, like comics can be very different to what the film is, because they may take aspects of the comic, but it's not going to be 100% what's in the film. So, but by the gist of it, she is basically she's the Superman of Marvel. Like, she is the strongest of all the strong. So if that's the case, it is a bit odd that they haven't called her before to help with all the other things that have gone wrong. I know they haven't necessarily been like the whole universe threatening, but they've still been bad enough to like call on like the expert. Like, surely they would have called her before. But anyway, maybe she's maybe she's been busy somewhere, or I don't know, maybe she's a superhero that doesn't really want to be bothered unless it's an emergency, and she's basically like the last hope of the whole galaxy, the whole universe, the whole everything. So yeah, she's like their, you know, their lifeline. She is the only person who's basically gonna be able to kill Thanos, by the sounds of it. Obviously, with help of the other guys. Because, to be honest, in this film, there has been moments where they've knocked Thanos down. Like, they knocked Thanos down 3 times. They knocked him down in this film. Gamora did it with her knife. All of, like, when they were trying to get the gauntlet off, the Guardians of the Galaxy, with Spider-Man and Iron Man and Doctor Strange, they got him down on his knees and, you know, got him to the floor to get the gauntlet off. So they did it. And also Thor on his own with his new, it's not a hammer anymore. Sad to say it's not a hammer anymore. But with Thor's axe that he's got, you know, he got him to the floor. But obviously none of them killed him. So with Captain Marvel, if she is as strong as everywhere is saying that she is, her, with everyone else's help, obviously the people that are still left, help on top of her powers, they should be able to get Thanos and kill him. But yeah, basically Thanos succeeded and everything is kind of up in air, and we don't quite know how they're gonna come back from this. Like, obviously half of the population has been wiped out. Are they gonna, you know, resurrect all of the population? Like, is everyone that's turned to ash gonna come back? Surely Nick Fury's not gonna be gone. Surely Black Panther's not gonna be gone. Surely, like, half of the Guardians of the Galaxy isn't gonna be gone. Like, surely Doctor Strange, like, do you know what I mean? Like, surely they will come back. You would think. But to be fair, like, how this film has gone, I don't know if they will all come back. Like, I reckon some of them will come back, because it's kind of, I don't think they can kill off that many superheroes in one film and not bring them back, because, you know, they like to do their spin-off films and their standalone films. So I don't think they would. But I have a feeling that not everyone will come back. I have a feeling there will be a few people that don't come back. And then they'll just reboot the character in like a year or two. But who knows? Like, because there's been lots of talks of lots of actors changing. Because as far as I'm aware, Captain America's going to change at some point. I've heard. He's changing. I think there's other ones that are changing, but the one that I've heard the most is Captain America's going to change. So that probably at some point he will die, and then they're just redo the whole Captain America story, but just slightly different, like they've done with Spider-Man like 100 times in the past like 5 years. Feels like there's been so many Spider-Men in like my lifetime. I say there's been so many. There's been 3. There's been 3, but it just feels to me like a lot. Like, for instance, Captain America, I've only known one Captain America for my lifetime, and I've only known one Tony Stark for my lifetime. Like, most of the characters, I've only known one. But Spider-Man, it just feels like there's been so many of them, and just feels like they're just, like, Spider-Man's never safe, like the actor who plays it, because it's like, oh, well, we could just, you know, get rid of you and just hire someone else and just redo the whole film. Yeah, so, you know, I reckon the next film will be good, but this film that I've just seen was really good. Like, it's been the best Avenger Marvel superhero film for a long time. I would highly recommend watching it if you haven't watched it, which if you haven't watched it, I don't know why you would have watched this video, but definitely watch it, because I kind of feel like I cried a bit too much, but I don't know if was that normal, because the people that I went and saw it with didn't cry at all. Like, they weren't bothered, but I literally wept. I was bum clenching and I was holding my breath and crying throughout the whole of this film. So that to me goes to show that it was a good film. If it makes me go through all the emotions, if it makes me laugh, if it makes me cry, if it makes me hold my breath, if it makes me just excited and makes me feel like the film isn't long, it's a good film. That concludes my review / just rambling about Infinity War. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a like if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel. Bye!